Hi guys. Well, it must be compressor season because I have multiple brands reaching out to me to test air compressors on my channel. And they are automotive related. They are something that I keep inside my car. Mini has a compressor in it. The Mercedes has a compressor in it. That one's from Mercedes. The one in the Mini is something I added. I think it's a good idea to keep a small toolkit inside your car. And I've talked about my Sonic toolkit before that I have in my Mini. I also talked last week about this Lasfit Air, which is a small, portable, compact compressor. So this one is from a company called ULIXWH, and this is available on Amazon. Right now it's $99.99, but there is a 50% off coupon with a promo code. I don't know when that expires, doesn't say. So there is a promo code right now, so it would be 50 bucks. I'll put a link in the description if you are interested in it. And this is kind of a unique take on a portable compressor, in that it is also a jump pack. So it comes in this nice semi-hard case. It's like a rugged nylon with a zipper around it. So the case is a nice thing that they give you. It's going to keep it protected inside your trunk. It takes up a little bit of space, but the space is used fairly well in here. Like it's kind of full of stuff. So let's pull it out and see what actually comes in the case. So here's everything that's included in the kit. There is this unit, which is a battery pack. There is this head, detachable head, that is a compressor that slides on here like this. There is a jump pack accessory, and there's a charging cable, uses USB-C, and there is a compressor extension hose, and 3 tips. 2 of them are the ones that you would use for blowing up an inflatable raft. One is long and skinnier than the other. And then there's a needle tip for blowing up a basketball, football, soccer ball, etc. So, like I mentioned, this bottom piece here is actually a battery pack. It has a USB-C charging port, and it has a USB-A output. So you can plug in your phone, you could charge your phone in a jam, that kind of thing. Underneath this rubber cap, there is a 2-pin, it's actually an EC5 connector, it's from the RC car world, but that connects this. And this is a jump pack accessory that you can plug in here and you can use to jumpstart your car. And I've done jump pack reviews before. This is actually a pretty common accessory. This has a capacitor in it that stores power, and you can see there's like a red and green blinking light, and that's to tell you when you're good to go or not good to jump your car. So we'll test that in a little bit. And then on top, there is a compressor. So this is kind of a combo tool where you get compressor and jump pack all in one, which is kind of neat. And it's about the same price as the Lasfit. Turn it on, you press this power button here, and that powers on this battery pack. Down here, there is a battery level indicator. You can see I have 3 bars. And then up here, this display will turn on, and it currently shows 0.00 bar. So this actually has 4 modes on it. You can press this button in the top center. It switches from 2.5 bar to 2.4 bar to 45 PSI to 8 PSI. And it shows 4 pictures underneath. The first one is a car, the second is a motorcycle, the third is a bicycle, and the last is a basketball. I have not been able to figure out a way to change the first 2 from bar to PSI. I don't think that there's a way to do it. I tried holding multiple buttons, I tried looking in the instruction book. It seems like that is a limitation here. But you can set whatever you want it to be. So in my use case, I would flip this to the bicycle where it says PSI, it's 45 PSI. You press the up or down button to set to whatever you want it to be. So in this case, I'll set it to 33, which is what the Mercedes-Benz behind me requires. And we can see that it blinks 33 and then it goes away to 0. Now it comes with this hose. The hose screws in the front here. Just like that. And then this other end would screw onto your tire. Screw this on. (31 PSI). I'm going to press the power button, the bottom center button, 1 time, and it's going to inflate. And there it is. So it went to 33 PSI and it shut off. And that took about 30 seconds. So I went from 31 to 33. This tire is a 225/40/18. And it took about the same time. I went from 33 to 36 PSI on those rear tires. And those are 255s, I want to say. 265, something like that. They're a wider tire on an 18-inch wheel. So obviously that works fine. That was the fourth tire that I've blown up with it. The power level is at 3 bars, and I added about 3 PSI to each one of them. So nice little portable option for, you know, you get into the car one day and your TPMS light comes on because your tires have dropped a couple PSI. You can very quickly pull this out, blow up your tires, and be on your way. Now, what I think is really cool about this is the secondary function of being a jump pack. So you could argue, well, I could have this Lasfit Air, which is an air compressor only, and I could have a jump pack, and it would probably take about the same amount of space as this does. But both of these have a battery pack in them. So it's kind of an interesting take that ULIX took on this in, if you're already going to have a battery pack, why not make it do more than one thing? And what I find intriguing is this connector. So they've got a 6-pin connector that's powering that head. And it makes me think, well, could they add on other things to this in the future? Maybe something like a little handheld portable vacuum for vacuuming out your car or something along those lines. They don't have anything else at this time. Right now, this is one kit. It includes both of these together, the compressor and jump pack. But I did find it intriguing. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually test out the jump pack functionality. All right, so of my cars, the Honda Passport is the, we'll say, dumbest. The Mercedes is very computer based, and the Minis or BMWs, they're also very computer based. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test this on the Honda here. So what I've done is I've actually removed the positive battery cable from the battery. You can see here that I put a rag in between the two of them so that they can't touch each other. And I'm going to take this and connect it. All right, so I've removed this plastic air cover just to get at the battery cable here. I've got these two on here nice and tight. And what we're going to do is try to start the car with no battery. And you can hear that the car started. Now, let me shut the car off. I just started the car 7 times in a row. That is an unreasonable test, yet it still passed, which is great. Now, this is a 3.5 liter V6, 3 liter V6. It's the I think it's J35 is the engine code. So as you can see, I still have the battery cable here disconnected. I'm gonna reconnect that now. So let's talk about what just happened there. So I removed the battery from the Honda Passport. Not physically removed it, but completely disconnected it so the car wasn't able to pull any power from it. I connected the ULIX jump pack, and the jump pack was able to start the car 7 times before I simply stopped starting the car. During any of those times, I didn't leave the car running for any length of time. I counted to 3 or 4 seconds, shut the car off, did it again. So it certainly wasn't enough time for the alternator to give any charge to the jump pack. I started the jump pack out at 3 bars of battery when it has 4. So not fully charged. I had previously inflated 4 tires on a car. And I did that for a reason, because in my experience, if you're going to take something like this and you're going to leave it in the trunk of your car, it might not be at 100% when you need it. So let's see what it can do at, 75, 80%. And it actually did well. Now, I disconnected the battery in the Honda for 2 reasons. Number one, I don't have a car with a dead battery to be able to sufficiently test this in any other way. Number 2, that is actually a harder test for a jump pack than leaving the battery connected or having a dead battery like you would have under normal circumstances. So if you have a car and it's, I used to live in the Northeast Pennsylvania, it was cold outside and it never failed. You'd get a cold winter day, the first one, wake up in the morning, it's 20 degrees outside, you go out, you press the button on your car and your car doesn't start. Turn the key and the car, click, 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 click. We used to jump cars all the time when I worked at Sound Solutions. We used to always have issues with cars, especially in the wintertime where the batteries would just be weak and all it took was some cold to make it so that you couldn't start the car. Now, when you have a car that has a weak battery in the circumstances that I just described, that battery isn't at 0 volts. It's at 7, 8, 9, 10. At rest, I usually see them around 10, and once you start cranking on it, I'll see it drop down to 7 or 8. Most cars, if a battery is 12 volts and it drops down around 10 when it's starting, the car will start. It might not love it, but it'll start. When you disconnect the battery and you're using the jump pack to power the car 100% with no battery at all connected, then that means the jump pack has to carry 100% of the weight of the cranking, instead of sharing that load with the battery that would normally be in there, which you would have under most circumstances. So I felt that that was about as difficult of a test that I can do with the equipment that I have here under reasonable circumstances. Now, will this start like an old diesel John Deere excavator? I don't know. I don't have one of those here to test it. But I feel as though that Honda Passport is a reasonable vehicle for an average person to be driving. It's a 3.5 liter V6. It is naturally aspirated, so there's no turbocharger. It isn't an incredibly efficient engine. It's high compression. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult than starting, say, this Mercedes sitting right here that has a 4-cylinder turbo, or either of the 2 Minis that both have 4-cylinder turbos as well. Smaller engines tend to be easier to start, especially when they're forced induction, because they run lower compression ratios and the effort required to turn the flywheel to raise the pistons up and down is less. Who do you buy this for? Is this for me as an automotive enthusiast? Maybe not. Maybe not. I personally would probably have something a little bit higher end in my vehicle. Something like a NOCO or a Topton specific jump pack, something that can that has a little bit more girth to it and can do a little bit more, a little bit larger engines, because I don't think that I'll need it for myself. I think that I'll need it for the person in the parking lot next to me when I leave the car show, right? So I want to have something that's a little bit better, maybe, a little bit bigger, maybe. Let's say you have a daughter or a wife or a son. You have kids, you have loved ones, you have an aunt, an uncle, a grandma, a grandpa, somebody that you care about, and you want to get them a cool gift for, hey, Father's Day is coming up. Maybe this is something cool for your dad. I think that that's the fit for this device. You get this for somebody in your life that you know is going to use it for themselves when they get into a jam, and it's going to be better than the other circumstances, which is calling AAA or relying on somebody else in the parking lot. It's going to start 90% of the reasonable vehicles on the road, V6, 4-cylinder, commuter cars, normal things. It'll probably start a V8. I honestly don't know. I don't have one here to test it, but I'm guessing that it will. And it also has the added benefit of being a compressor, so it is something that you use more often than a jump pack. My last jump pack, the Topton, that I've done a video on, I purchased 3 years ago, and I used it for, well, it sat in the Honda, actually in the back of the Honda for 3 years. And I never actually had the opportunity to pull it out and use it under normal circumstances. I used it in the test, I did a video on it, but I never actually had a dead battery and had to use it for that. So my dad was here recently and he was talking about needing a new jump pack. He's got lawnmowers and different things like that, multiple cars, you know, whatever. So I said, oh, here, take this. And I just gave him my topped-in jump pack because I figured he can get more use out of it than I can. And then lo and behold, I get sent one for testing. Now, I should talk about that. I was sent this for testing for my honest opinion, my honest review. So who is this for? It's for your wife, it's for your kid, it's for your grandfather, your dad, people in your lives that have to drive cars that you want them to have some sort of something to help them out if they get into a jam. A jump pack is very easy to use. I can easily train my wife how to do it. I could easily train my daughter how to do it and make it so that they can use it reliably. A compressor, super easy to use. It's got a nice digital display. You change it to the number that you need. You press the button and it does its thing. Very easy to use and operate. I think the build quality is good. I think it's a unique design. The uniqueness is what actually made me want to review it. The fact that this compressor head like slides on here, and I thought, well, what other accessories could they come up with? It was just kind of an interesting take on a market that has a lot of products in it already. Other positives, the price. Normally it's $100, right now it's $50. I think it's a good value in the 70 to 80 range. I honestly think that 100 is a little high. You know, it's cheaper than buying an inflator and a jump pack. The Lasfit inflator that I just reviewed was like 60, 70 bucks. The Lasfit inflator is a little bit nicer as an inflator. I'll get into that in a sec. But if you bought an inflator and a jump pack, you would easily be in the $150 range. You know, if you got like a topped-in jump pack or a smaller NOCO or something like that. So I think it's a great value at the $50 that it currently is. And I think that it's worth probably 1.5 times that. 80 bucks, 100 bucks, something like that is probably pretty reasonable. The retail on it's $129. I haven't seen it on Amazon for $129 yet, so I would assume that this is one of those things that's kind of always going to be on sale, or there's going to be reasonable coupons on a pretty regular basis. I like the added feature of being able to charge a phone. So if you get into a jam and you've got a dead phone and a dead car, you can charge your phone. And I know that happens, especially to kids. My kids always had phone issues. The USB-C is an input only, not an output, but it does support USB-C charging, so it does charge pretty quickly. And then there is a USB-A output that you can plug in an accessory, phone, whatever you might need to charge when you're stranded. So you could use it as like a regular battery pack to charge your phone on a regular basis if you wanted to get a little bit more use out of it. I personally wouldn't do that because of my luck. It would be dead because if it charged my phone all day on the day that I actually need it to jump my car. I like the case. I think it's well thought out. It's nylon, it's nice. It could be a little bit smaller if they didn't have this plastic tray in here, but the plastic tray is nice and done well. It's not too flimsy, it's not too rigid, you know, it's just reasonable, kind of in the middle. The compressor, I think, could be a little bit better. I would like to see me be able to change. So it has like these 4 presets, but the 4 presets are not changeable in any way that I can find. So the first one is like 2.5 bar, the second one is 2.3 bar. I can't switch either one of those from bar to PSI. The second 2 are 45 PSI and 8 PSI, and I can't switch those to bar. I also can't change the programmed value in that bicycle or basketball to a different number. When I change it from 45 down to 33 and I press the button, it inflates my car and it keeps inflating my car until it shuts off. Once it shuts off and turns back on, now you're back to 45. And I can't figure out a way to program it. Now that doesn't mean that there isn't a way to do it, but it's not mentioned in the manual. And I tried all kinds of combinations of holding buttons and pressing multiple buttons at the same time and doing everything that I could to figure out a way to program it, and I wasn't able to. So the functionality might exist, but it's not intuitive if it does. But truly, at the end of the day, it worked well. It's a reasonable value. I don't know what the longevity of it's going to be, but it's aluminum. It's got these hardened plastic caps on it. The button on the front of it's aluminum. It's got like a brushed edge. It seems built fairly well. The compressor head is kind of the same. This is all aluminum here. This is plastic here. The compressor is obviously small, but it did a decent job on these Mercedes tires, just fine. It comes with this, which is more of a standard extension, so it's got a male and female Schrader valve on it. I would like to see an extra of these, honestly, or at least like the ability to buy a part on their website, and they don't have that right now. So that's something that I would like to see them add in the future, just because of all the things, that cable is like, it's your wear item, right? It's the thing that you're kind of flexing all the time, screwing on and unscrewing, etc. And you know, even these to a degree. I would like to see you have the ability to buy another one of these or buy another one of these as parts so that you can not have to lose your compressor over a hose. At the end of the day, it feels a little nitpicky, especially at $50 and given all the stuff that it does. If this lasted you 2 or 3 years and worked just fine when you actually needed it, I don't know that I would care that the hose broke after a couple years and that I had to replace it. I would feel as though I got my money's worth and I had a reasonable value from the product. So what I'm going to do with it, I'm going to charge this up. This is going to stay in the Honda. Right now the Honda doesn't have a pack, it doesn't have a compressor, it doesn't have anything in it. It's the car that I drive the most of all of the vehicles that we have. The Mercedes comes from the factory with a little inflator in the back because their spare is undersized and you need to be able to inflate it in order to use it. She doesn't have a jump pack. I test her battery on a regular basis. I'm just never going to leave her in a place where she's going to have a dead battery. The Honda is going to be far more likely to have a dead battery given the type of battery, the quality of battery, and the type of maintenance that I do on both of these two vehicles. I think it's a cool option. Again, I'll put a link in the description. Feel free to check it out. If you do click on that link and you end up buying it from Amazon, I'm going to get a kickback. That's an affiliate link. It'll give me 5% back. It's not going to cost you any additional money. In the listing, there is a coupon, so make sure you click on the coupon. It looks like it's going to give you 50% off. So this is going to go from being $99 to being $50. So I think at that point, it's a great value. Could be a good option for Father's Day coming up or birthday, something along those lines. I think it's a really unique take on an already fairly saturated market. Again, I feel like the Lasfit Air is a better compressor than that is. The two hoses, the adjustability, the ability to program settings and keep those programs in there. But in a pinch, if I had one of these in my car, like if I had the choice between one of these in my car and they're both the same money, which they're about both the same money, I would pick this because it has the ability to be a jump pack as well. So thank you for watching. I hope you're having a great day.